Hi everybody, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for visiting with me today. So today I wanted to talk some more about Jenn Soto and just her involvement in what happened to Madeline Soto. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to really super quickly tell you Madeline Soto is a young lady that was reported missing on February 26th after her mom went to pick her up from school and she wasn't there, and mom found out she wasn't in school all day. And then a couple days later, mom's boyfriend was arrested for CP found on his phone involving Madeline. And then a few days later, Madeline's body was found in a wooded area in St. Cloud, Florida, which is about 17 to 20 miles away from her Kissimmee home. Anyway, that's the summarization of it, like a quick summarization. To learn more about it, you can definitely watch one of my previous videos. I am going to do another complete video about it. But there are lots of videos about Madeline online if you want to also check those out. But that was a very brief summary. But first, because we're getting into heavy material, kitten break. This is Django. He is very sweet. He's a cuddle bug, but he's also a bit of a whiner. He's not going to be now because I said he's one. Look, he's getting poised to attack Brian. Here, go play. Go play. Yeah, baby. So regardless of what she truly thought or felt, when she allowed Stearns to sleep in the same bed with Madeline, she was giving him permission. She was permitting him to do all the heinous things that he did to Madeline, and he did a lot. He wasn't shy about what he did to this little girl. And there's lots of video and photographic evidence, and it's sick. I haven't seen the photographs or anything like that, but I've read descriptions of everything. It is an extremely long document, I believe it was over 100 pages, and it is sick. It is extremely sick. And she allowed this, whether she knew or not, it to me is irrelevant whether well, if she knew, that makes it worse. But even her not knowing, it still makes her negligent, in my opinion. I think this is a severe child neglect case we're looking at, if not something worse than that. Minimum child neglect. And you're not going to change my mind on that, especially after what we've learned over the last week or so. You know, it doesn't matter what she meant by it, by letting them sleep in the same bed together. You know, when she was having anxiety, she needed them to go sleep in a separate bed by themselves without her. You know, in my opinion, she shouldn't have been in the bed with the both of them anyway, at any point. He's the boyfriend. They're not even, you know, it's just... And before anyone hops in my comments with, no, honey, don't do that to me, because that's patronizing and it pisses me off and it'll only get you blocked. Don't know honey me. I hate that shit. And if you're someone who's been through something with your biological father, I'm very sorry about that. But I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and that's just the way it is. And I'm sick of people coming in and saying things like, well, I guess you've never been SA'd before. I have twice. Thank you. I'm not going to go into it right now, but don't tell me I don't understand and I don't know. Do not come into my comments like that, because that's just going to get you blocked. Not, even if you're nice about it, you're going to get blocked for telling me I don't know what I'm talking about in this situation. And that may seem mean, but that's just the way it is, because I'm not going to be patronized in my comments. It was her job to protect Madeline, and I actually, and I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I feel like her biological father was responsible to protect her too. I mean, I realize he's in Texas, but I mean, he chose to be involved with her. He could have signed over his parental rights, you know, when she was conceived, and he didn't. So I think he bears some responsibility. I'm sorry. I know that that's not a popular opinion, but I do think that he bears some responsibility. He was her father. Your parents are supposed to protect you, and that's just the way it is. And if you disagree with me on that, that is fine, but that you're not going to change my mind on that issue either. I think definitely mother bears more of the responsibility, absolutely most of the responsibility, if we're being honest. But to say he's not responsible at all, I disagree with that. Is that hard on the dad? Maybe, but that's how I feel. But she failed at protecting Madeline, and I wonder what her previous relationships were like as far as Madeline was concerned. I really do. I wonder. Because mom obviously, it just seems to me she wanted a man in her life so bad she would have done anything. And she doesn't appear to be like the sharpest tool in the shed, you know, not the brightest light bulb in the box. I'm just saying. And unfortunate, it's unfortunate, but these kind of mothers are everywhere. They are everywhere. There's a ton of mothers like this. And it's just, so unfortunately, this isn't even an unusual situation. It's just unusual as in she was unalived and the boyfriend got caught. But, you know, I know that there are crappy moms like this everywhere that put men before their children, and then the men go and do something terrible to the children. I'm related to one of them. So I know firsthand, having a man come first, you know, is most important to them. And if they have to sacrifice their children for it, so be it. They got a boyfriend. I got a boyfriend, so you can do whatever you want to my children. The description of the videos and photographs, they're nauseating. They literally made me physically ill. I had to take my emergency medication because of it. You can obtain the documents yourself. I would warn against it. You can obtain the documents yourself. There's a lot of them. I'm not going to read the descriptions. I'm not going to get into that. Vinnie Politan goes over a little bit on Court TV, not all of it, because all of it would be way too much for YouTube. YouTube would probably explode. But I have to have this in my head now, and I'm not going to put it in your head. And I know you probably want to hear the details, not because you're gross and you want the dirty details, but I know a lot of people feel Madeline had to go through it. We should have to hear about it so we can be enraged. Because it's important to be enraged and learn how to protect these kids. But I'm not going to be responsible for putting that in your head. You know, this information can't be unheard. It can't be unseen. So, you know, I'm just not going to be the one to put this out there. So you can go seek out the information yourself. The documents will cost. There is a cost to the documents if you go. But it's a lot. It's a lot to listen to. Now I want to go over some comments from Vinnie Politan's live stream that he did regarding this information, because some of the comments he gets, oh boy. I mean, actually there is something else I wanted to talk about before we get into Vinnie Politan, and that is this. There's one part, Investigator Morris, MJ Morris, wrote some notes here. And I had a problem with the wording. So he showed a photograph of Stefan's penis to Jenn to identify, because apparently he has a weird penis. If you have a weird penis, don't do evil crap with it, because you're going to get caught. But Jenn did not want to believe that Madeline and Stefan were engaged in sexual activity. I have a problem with the way that was worded. That's implying that it was a consensual relationship. First of all, legally she couldn't consent even if she said yes, and this wasn't consensual. This was RAPE, and I wish it was worded that way, because that's what it was. There's no getting around that. It is what it is. Jenn asked to see the image of Stefan and Madeline. I pulled out a printed picture from Stefan's Google Drive that showed Madeline with Stefan's in her mouth. And she said she didn't recognize anything in the picture, as if she was in denial. However, she became visibly upset. So either she was in severe denial, or she knew this was going on. Now, the way I feel, I don't know her, but I think she may have known, or at least suspected very strongly, that this was going on, but was so blinded and so groomed herself and so fooled that she chose to ignore it, even though this was evil being done to her child, and she allowed it to be done. Again, whether she knew or didn't know, it doesn't matter. This was neglect. As far as I'm concerned, she neglected that child. What are you you doing over there? Kitties are going nuts. Harry! The kitties are going bananas. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So then we also have I'm just reading this over this real quick. I'll probably drop it down, copies of this down in the, no, I don't really have anything to say on that, but at the end, I'll drop down those screenshots. But so I wanted to go over some comments that Vinnie Politan got, and these people that are commenting, he is too nice. Well, I shouldn't say that, because he got some really good comments, but a lot of them are really just your belly button, non-helpful comments that just, you know. So this one is, I'm not gonna show you the comment, because even though these comments were shown on screen, I'm not gonna show the comments on mine. But it says, "Where is she? Why is she still free?" Regarding Jenn. She's still free because the police either have no legal reason to support an arrest, which I know seems unbelievable. It's unbelievable to me, because she's at the very least guilty of severe child neglect. But the last thing they want to do is make arrests without solid charges to levy against her, or she made a deal. And we don't know that. That may be something we'll learn in the future, if she made a deal or not. But she could have very well made a deal. But I definitely think she's guilty of neglect, at the very least, at the bare minimum. This one says, "Serious conversation. Doesn't Jennifer Soto seem low IQ in her interviews? Did she know any better? She seemed uneducated and not all there. Not defending her, just saying." Okay, I don't think she really seemed low IQ. I definitely think her emotional IQ is low. Like she does seem like she may be at least emotionally unintelligent. Low self-esteem, low self-worth. I don't think it's necessarily a low IQ so much as just so desperate for a man that you'll put up with anything. And like I said, low self-esteem, low self-worth, emotionally unintelligent. These are things incredibly intelligent people can experience. So I really didn't have a problem with that comment either. Was mom also SA and Madeline, all three sleeping in the same bed? Why feeling anxious? Because your on again, off again boyfriend and you are SA and your daughter. I mean, is it beyond the realm to wonder? Okay. I don't believe the mom SA'd her. I just don't believe that. I know a lot of people want me to believe that. I don't believe that. Although I can see why it is believed that she was involved. I don't think she was. Why feeling anxious? Don't be an ableist. Don't be an ableist. Anxiety is real. A lot of people suffer from it. Millions of people have anxiety disorders. It doesn't mean they feel guilty. Anxiety isn't a feeling of guilt. Anxiety is anxiety. And I just kind of pisses me off that this person questions her anxiety. Everybody had, like most people have some level of anxiety. I just think it's very insensitive and ableist for them to address the anxiety this way. Almost implying that anybody with anxiety is obviously guilty of something. That's not what anxiety is. I don't think it's beyond the realm to wonder if Jenn was involved, but I think that we need to put the anxiety aside. That's not, everybody has some form of anxiety, and I think it's very ignorant and ableist to involve the mental disorder of anxiety in here. And it just, I'm sorry, maybe I'm just getting a little nitpicky, but I do think that's ableist. A lot of people suffer from anxiety, and their children never get SA'd and unalived. So yeah, that's I just think that's rude, really. And this is from Duty Ron. I like him. Hey, Vinny, as you know, they need to have enough evidence for probable cause to effect a lawful arrest that a crime was committed by Jennifer Soto, and I don't think they have it yet. And Duty Ron is correct. Probable cause needs to be established, and even in terms of just neglect, it may not meet the legal standard to issue an arrest. And yeah, so he's right. Obviously, he's right. He's going to know more than any of us on, arrest and things like that. And they can't arrest her just because social media wants her to be arrested. Okay, I don't understand this one. W hating, he was sending the pics to mom. I don't know. I don't know what that means, but he wasn't. So far, there's no evidence of that. Why is it so hard to accept that she was just lonely and stupid with low self-esteem and low self-worth and selfishness? She wanted a man in her life that she didn't care how it affected Madeline. Hey, quit fighting. Quit it. Hey, quit doing that. I'm sorry, the kittens are acting up. I know that's unprofessional, but I'm not a professional. I'm just some chick talking in our living room, all right? Or my spare bedroom, actually. But I don't understand why it's so hard to believe that she was just stupid, ignorant, and selfish. So no, I don't think he was sending that to her. I actually believe if she was getting physical evidence like that, she may have done something. I don't know. And I know you're going to come for me for saying that because you want it to be as dark and horrendous as possible. A lot of people want her to have been involved in the essay. And that, that's disturbing to me that people want her to be involved in it. I don't think she was involved in it. If I thought she was involved in it, I would say so, but I just don't think she was. Some of you people just want it to be as twisted as possible, as if it's not twisted enough, but I feel like some people want it to be as dark as possible. Let's make it darker and weirder and grosser than it already is. And, people are trying to paint a picture that it isn't, or probably isn't, and I kind of think that's gross of people to do that because it almost makes them seem predatory. Oh, please, Florida prosecutors, make this guy the first one to get the death penalty for these crimes against children. Won't happen, unfortunately. I mean, I do believe he's going to get the death penalty for unaliving Madeline. I firmly believe that in my heart and soul. He is going to get the death penalty, but I don't think he's going to get it for the crimes he committed prior to the unaliving, because... And it's not just crimes against children. It's very specific. It's specifically S battery on a child under 12, which he has been charged with, I believe, 6 or 9 counts of. And yes, they do fall under the legislation that DeSantis signed last October, that would be punishable by the death penalty. But because those events took place before legislation was signed, and because that legislation is being considered unconstitutional, I really doubt those are the issues that would get him the death penalty. He's probably more than likely going to get the death penalty because of her unaliving, but as far as this goes, as far as the sexual battery goes, he's not going to get the death penalty for that. Sure, we all want to see it, but relax, because he's probably going to get it anyway. One way or the other, that man is going to die for his sins against Madeline. How he dies, another story. But I'm sure he's going to get it for unaliving Madeline. In which case, he'll probably be in protective custody until that day comes, but we'll just see. Okay, this one again. She said she took Maddie to school. She lied. When did she say that? When she said she saw her getting ready for school, and we know that's not true because Madeline was already passed by that time she was referencing. And she said Stefan took Madeline to school. She never said she took her. She did say in that interview, we took her, but then specified it was Stefan that took her. And that's just, I think that's just a speech thing. That's just, it's kind of almost like a Florida thing. Not exactly. I've been in Florida my whole life, and I've noticed people like to say we a lot when they only mean one. Like my sister's always like, we love this movie, when only one person in the group she's referencing loves the movie. It's just a thing. It's just a matter of a way people speak, but she never said specifically, I took Madeline to school. She never said that. And I've watched every bit of media on her, and unless it was in the police documents, and I just didn't catch that one, but I went over that information pretty meticulously. So, yeah. Probably sat in corner waiting to clean her up. See, that's sick. That's what this person wants to believe, because it wants to be, they want the situation to be as disgusting and as sick and as cinematic as possible. And so this is what I mean. These people want it to be this way. They want it because the worse Jenn looks, the better they feel about themselves. And that's just the honest to God's truth. Jenn already looks bad. There's no reason to paint her into more of a monster than she is. She already looks bad for lying and for severe neglect of this child. But these people, there are people out there that want her so involved, like, oh, she told him what to do, and she was sticking hairbrushes in her and stuff. They want her to be, they want the situation to be darker than it already is, because of some sick, twisted thing going on in their brain, that if she's doing this, it makes me look better as a human being. And that is true. I've actually discussed this with my psychologist about how people get like this. I'm not defending Jenn at all. I think she's responsible, but I do not believe she was involved in the SA. You're not going to make me believe that. And until there is evidence of that, I won't believe it. And as of right now, there actually is no evidence of that. Mom was on psych meds and will be her defense. At this point, she doesn't need a defense because she hasn't been charged with anything. And it would actually depend on what psych meds she was on. I don't think it would be much of a defense considering how long this has gone on for. Again, I'm not saying mom doesn't deserve to be arrested. I just don't think she's going to be arrested. I don't think she's going to be charged with anything. I want her to be, but I don't think it's going to happen. Marshall, is it time to go? Oh, okay. All right. On the interview at 42:31, when they asked what time did he factory reset, he says he looked at her, Jenn, and said, what did I just do? So Jenn knew he reset his phone. So what? So what? I reset my phone. Who cares? So what? What does that mean? It doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. It wasn't worth bringing up. No. So what? She allowed her daughter to snuggle with a grown man. Unacceptable, in my opinion. Yeah, that's gross. That is disgusting. He's an animal, and she allowed it. She probably thought it was cutesy. You know, I had, my sister is a little older than me, so she was married when I was 5 years old, and her husband he was such a sweet man, and I loved him. He's passed away since then, but he has let me finish this real quick, okay? He actually has a park named after him because he was so popular with children. Yeah, the kittens are going nuts. And he wasn't a perv at all. He was just a wonderful guy. And I was always trying to snuggle with him. They were like, no, you can't be all over grown men. But he was like one of my favorite people ever. Ever. Okay. Vinny, can't Jenn be charged with neglect of a child and child endangerment? They have to be able to attach the legal definition to Jenn's actions prior to established knowledge. I do think she's definitely guilty of neglect, and I think if they're creative enough, they can find a way to charge her with it, in my opinion. Arrest her ASAP. Police can't just arrest people because strangers on the internet think they should. Do TV interviews hold no weight in court? I sent on X a link to interview where JS says, that's Jenn Soto, says she brought Maddie to school. No, you can lie to the media. It doesn't hold any weight in court. You can lie to the media as much as you want. It doesn't matter. So I've just, again, I've watched everything. I've never heard her say that she drove her to court. I drove her to school, so I really don't know what this chick is talking about here, but all right. But anyway, that's it. I have to go. I have to bring Marshall to work, but thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to everyone later. Bye.